Welcome back to my channel, fellow gardeners. Today I want to talk succulents again. I just love succulents because, first of all, less pampering, self-sufficient, and also they do look beautiful. Now this is a sausage spur and it is a lovely plant. I've always had it in my garden, but I've never really noticed it until it started producing its flowers. I'm going to show you how to propagate this plant, and I really do feel proud about it because it is native to East Africa and you can find it in every nursery in Kenya. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Alice. I'm the Red Soul Gardener. I just love succulents. The beautiful thing about succulents, they're so, first of all, so durable, and also they need less pampering, and they're actually really self-sufficient. You may have to water it maybe once every month, depending on your location. But once you do have them as indoor plants, or even like with this one, which is called a sausage spur, is that once you hang it in a hanging basket, you just leave it there and it takes care of itself. Now my little sausage spur from Kenya, which I love, is that once again I've had it at the back where I keep my succulents, and I actually did ignore it. It's just when it started flowering, I looked and I thought, I never knew it flowered, and I thought it's time to actually introduce it to all of you so you too can have this beautiful plant. Now the thing about this plant is that, first of all, as it grows downwards. It does start here and then it'll tip downwards. And these little stems that do go down can actually be up to 3 feet long, which actually tells you that, first of all, you could have it as in a hanging basket, so you could have those lovely stems falling out of the basket. And second thing is, like with this particular one, once I did discover that it does flower, what I do is I actually have it on my bookshelf, and as you see that all these stems are shooting vertically and they look very attractive. Now basically is that we're going to look at a propagation of this succulent. Now the thing about the succulent, it is Euphorbia. Now with a Euphorbia, it does bleed. Now I will show you, because once I do cut it, I'll take a stem from here. Once you do cut it, you do get this sort of milky substance, like a latex, and that is very typical of every Euphorbia. It's a bit like poinsettias or even other types of Euphorbias. So when you do a propagation, it is very important that you do callus it at least 48 hours before you decide to do a propagation. And I'm going to put it here. Now the other thing about this plant, what I love about it, as we talked about the flowers, it's got these lovely pink flowers at the edge, and it always forms at the edge. Now what happens first is that you will get the leaves, and they look like this, and as it does grow and it gets into its flowering season, at the tip of the stems is where you get all these lovely pink flowers, and they do open like a bract. Now for Euphorbias is basically a bit like a cacti, but they do like a bit, they are drought tolerant, but they don't like to be drought tolerant for too long. So what is your light requirement first? It does like full sun, but it can be in a bright shaded area. Now the second thing, what is the water requirement? As we mentioned, is that they are similar to cacti, however they don't like to be in a drought situation too long. So if you do have this plant, and for example if you're in a place where it's constantly warm, I would actually have it in full sun, and maybe I would water it is maybe once a month or every 2 weeks, or you could do a finger test, because basically what you want to do if you water it is water it and feel that the soil of the plant is dry, then you water it. Because a lot of people, as I know, I do it myself, is that we actually do kill succulents by over caring for it and over watering. So do be very careful, as I mentioned before, do finger test, and depending on the location that you're at, if you're in a sunny in an area where in a location that the weather is constantly warm, I would actually water it a bit more often. However, if you do have it as an indoor plant, do that finger test and then water it when the soil is completely dry. So what sort of soil does it want? Basically, it'll do well with cacti soil, which has a bit of grit inside, it has a bit of coarse material, it has a bit of pumice if you want to put pumice, or you could put perlite, but it has to be well draining. What I have done here, again, is I do have my soil here, which has a lot of garden soil. At the same time, I do have a lot of pumice in there, and also it is well draining in terms that the water does pass through. Now, what I did is, in order to decorate it, I did throw a few pumice stones, as seen here, on top, just to give it a bit of a look, or a bit of like a decoration. So we've talked about light, we've talked about soil, we've talked about watering. Another tip I could give you when you do water is usually I do water it twice. So let the water go in and run through. And then what I would do is put it aside for maybe 20 minutes and then give it the second drench of water. In that way, you ensure that the soil is always moist after you've watered it, and therefore it will last a long time. Sometimes what we do is, when we do water it just once and the water goes straight through, is the soil doesn't have enough time to actually get that moisture. So actually, in a way, is you're just watering the top of the soil, not the total soil in the pot. So let me put it down here. So now, as I mentioned, with propagation, is just simply is actually going down to the stem, as we did with this one, nip it from the mother plant, and then leave it 48 hours aside to callus. Now, what I did is I did it similar thing with these ones, and if I touch them, they're completely callous. And there's the latex or the sap has completely dried. And what happens here is that basically it sort of healed itself. So now once I do put it in soil, is that basically it's not going to sort of pick up bacteria or fungal infections, but it's actually ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is, let me put this aside. And then what I've done is I do have this pot, it's slightly moist. I did water it last night. And so I'm going to plant my stems of my sausage spur in here. And all I do is just go in here and just plonk it in, just like that. And then what I'll do is put another one here, just like that. And then all I'll do is just continue doing this. Once I've cut my stem, calloused it, and it's dry, I will fill this pot with many more stems and then just let it develop. Now, I did do this with another pot where I did cut my sausage spur and actually filled it. And so basically, here it is. So what I did here is I got my sausage spur and took sections of it. This is a while back, and I stuck it in this pot, and basically it's taken off. So this is the result of actually doing it like that. And what I did add in this pot is just the spurs that actually looked a bit unusual with these sort of branching happening. And slowly it's actually worked. So thank you so much, fellow gardeners. Do go in and look for the spur, especially if you do live in Kenya or in the East African region. And you're guaranteed to actually have such a beautiful plant with such beautiful flowers. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my channel. Also press that notification so you'll always be notified. We're on Instagram, do send me messages. I do post a lot there. We're on YouTube. All the comments, I do try to answer them, and I do love getting those questions and answers. And also we're on Facebook. I do post a lot. And thank you so much for joining me, and have a lovely, lovely day. Thank you.